Welcome back, learners, to our interesting course based on the theme Rudimentary Principles and Practices of Managerial Economics. I am Dr. Shantanu Saurabh, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, DAV PG College, Banaras Hindu University. So I welcome you in lecture number 46, module 10, which is based on the theme Forms of Market and Perfect Competition. In this lecture, we'll be basically covering three topics as you're able to see on the screen. Those three topics will be concept and definition of market, features of market, and classification of market. So one by one, we'll be taking all these three topics. So first, concept and definition of market. In the economy, the goods and services produced is basically for satisfaction of the consumers. Anything produced in the economy is basically for the satisfaction of the customer or the consumer. The process of exchange is very vital or important. The process of exchange is very important, and for that market is required, which means if any firm is producing any goods and its exchange is required, that will take place in the respective market. So market is basically a place where the buyers and sellers get together in order to buy or sell a particular good, which means the market is a particular place where buyers and sellers, which means the people who are ready to sell the goods and the people who are ready to purchase the goods, get together to buy or sell the respective good or product they have made. The market is not restricted to any particular building or place or area, which means the market is not a specific building or a place or area. In the economic sense, market basically refers to the area in which buyers and sellers are there and there is free competition with each other, which means there are numerous buyers, numerous sellers, and there is existence of free competition. This is a very important point to be remembered, that there should be free competition in the market. Now moving to the definitions. In the words of Ellie, market means the general field within which the forces determining the price of a particular commodity operates. As you are aware, the price of a product is a very important element. So market basically means a particular field with which forces, different forces determining the price of commodity operates. The second definition, in words of Professor Cornott, economists understand by the term market not particular place at which things are bought or sold, but the whole of region in which buyers and sellers are in such free interaction with one another, the price of same goods lend to equality easily and quickly. So that is the basic meaning of market. Now moving ahead, the features of market, the next topic. As you are able to see on the screen, these are 6 features of any market you talk about. The first feature is on the basis of area, commodity, buyer and seller, competition, close contact, and price. So one by one we will be covering all these 6 features. Now features of market. The first feature is regarding the area. The area here is not specifically related to any geographical territory, but the whole area where there is existence of buyer and seller and is in a competitive contact to each other, which means in area it is not only bounded to any geographical territory, but the whole area where there is existence of buyers and sellers and they are in a position to compete to each other, that can be termed as market. So that was the concept in sense of area. Now the second feature that is related to buyers and sellers. The most important is existence of buyers and sellers for a market. If these two people are not involved in the process, it can never be termed as a market. These are the pillar points of any market. So no place can be termed as market without existence of buyers and sellers. These are must required for any market. Even if there is only one buyer or seller, it would be termed as market, which means if there is a single buyer or single seller, then also it will be considered as a market. This type of market is called monopoly and monopsony. of single case. Okay? So that was the case of buyer and seller. These are two important, most important elements of market. The third is the commodity. The market must have a specific commodity. Without the commodity, the existence of market is not possible. In economics, each commodity can have different market, such as vegetable market, iron market, wood market, fruit market, etc. So here you need to have a specific commodity, and in economic sense, different products have different market. You must have heard that there is vegetable market, there is iron market, wood market. So that is the place where specific commodity is being sold in the market by the buyer and the seller. So in this slide we have discussed about the area. It is not bounded to any geographical territory or area. Then buyer and seller are the two most important people involved in this process. And third, we talked about commodity. There should be a specific commodity for the market. Now, the fourth point is competition. Another important feature is that there must be existence of competition between the buyers and the sellers. In the market, if there is no competition, it cannot be termed as a market. There should be existence of competition between the buyers and the sellers, but the competition should be ethical and according to the norms of the market, which means the competition should not be unethical or should not be contributing in a negative way to the market. The competition should be healthy and for the development of the market. Next important point is close contact. There should be close contact between the buyer and the seller, because of which the competition will also prevail. Means both the buyer and the seller shall be in a close contact. It is not mandatory that the buyer and seller to be physically present. They can build contact through different media such as email, message, call, online mode, etc. Which means here, to have a close contact between the buyer and seller, it is not mandatory to be physically present. You are already aware that this is the generation of online marketing or online market. So the transactions or the relationships between the seller and the buyer can be in the form of emails, messages, call, online mode, or different online platforms through which the sale and purchase is being done between the buyer and the seller. The next important feature is regarding the price. Price is one of the most important feature of the market. In the case of high competition, there is tendency of similar price of specific commodity, which means if the competition level is high, there are more chances that the price will be kind of similar of specific commodity. But when the competition is comparatively low, which means there is no competition or less competition, there will be different prices. Tries to explain that price plays a very important role, and when there is cutthroat competition, there are chances that the price will be similar of different competitors, but when the competition is less or low, there are chances of different prices. So in this slide we have talked about competition, close contact and price. Moving ahead, classifications of forms of market. As you are able to see on the screen, these are 4 basic classifications of forms of market on the basis of area, basis of time, basis of seller and basis of buyer. On these bases we can classify the market. So one by one we will be taking all these 4 bases. First, on the basis of area. On the basis of area, as you are able to see, we can divide the market on the basis of local market, provincial market, national market and international market. So one by one we will be taking all these 4 markets. On the basis of area, the first market can be any local market. In local market, the demand for a commodity is limited to very small area. For example, the Lanka market of Varanasi, it will be serving the local purposes of the people residing in Varanasi or the Lanka area only. So that is the meaning of local market, which means it will be serving the purpose for small area only. The second is provincial market. When demand for any product is limited to any wide area or region, it is termed as provincial market. For example, the market of state Gujarat or Haryana, it can be considered as a province. Third is national market. The national market in which buyers and sellers of any commodity are spread in the whole nation or country. For example, the buyers are spread in the whole nation like India, it can be termed as national market, and it is termed as national market. And fourth, the international market. In international market, the buyers and sellers of the commodity is spread to different countries or nations of the world. Such is termed as international market, which means in this international markets, the buyers and sellers are spread to different countries. For example, India, and you can say UK, US, the buyers and sellers are distributed in different countries. So on the basis of area, we can divide on 4 parts. First was local market, second was provincial market, third was national market, and fourth was international market. Now, on the basis of time, as you are able to see on the screen, there are 4 different distinctions or divisions of it: very short period market, long period market, and very long period market. So one by one, we will be considering all these 4. On the basis of time, very short period market. Such kind of market is also termed as daily market, which means the period is very short. In such kind of market, the seller has no time to increase the supply of the product on the basis of demand. The supply here is constant, which means even if there is increase in the demand of any respective product, in very short period market, there cannot be increase in supply because the duration here of availability is very less, like in the case of vegetables, milk, fruits, etc. So here it is also considered as daily market, and here the supply cannot be increased. Supply is kind of constant because it is focusing on daily market, like in the case of vegetables, milk or fruits, etc. The next point is short period market. In such kind of market, there is more time duration than the very short duration market. The time duration here can be of 6 months approx. In this case, the producer can increase the supply of the product in case of increase of demand, but the production capacity of the plant is constant, which means in this short period market, if there is increase in demand of any specific product, the supply can be increased, but there is a problem regarding the production capacity of the respective plant which it is having. So till now we have discussed about very short period market, and then we talked about short period market. The third is long period market. In this market, the duration is quite long, that supply can be increased or decreased according to the market demand, which means the supply can be varied as per the demand in the market. In long period, the demand and supply have effect on the price of the commodity, which is an important parameter to be understood, that in long period market, the demand and supply have impact on the price of commodity. The price of this market is termed as normal price. So in long period market, the demand and supply can be increased or decreased according to the market requirement, and here the price of the market is termed as normal price. The fourth point, very long period market. Such market is also termed as imaginary market, which means there are less chances of real existence of such kind of markets. In the very long period market, the supply can be raised according to the taste, preference or other factors by establishing new firms here. Here in very long period market, we are talking about establishing new firms in the market. The duration can be from more than 20 years. So it is a kind of hypothetical market where we talk about establishing new firms on the basis of taste, preference and other factors of consumer or customer. So on the basis of time, we have talked about 4 bases on very short period market, long period market and very long period market. Now on the basis of seller, perfect competition, imperfect competition and monopoly. So on the basis of seller, the market can be divided into these 3 basic components. The first one being perfect competition, imperfect competition and monopoly. So one by one we will be taking all these. In this presentation, I will be just providing you an idea of these 3, but in the upcoming lectures, detailed explanation of this will be done with their features and pricing determination. So on the basis of seller, the first, that is perfect competition. In perfect competition, there is large number of buyers and sellers who are dealing in identical products. This is important point to be understood. They have perfect knowledge of the market. There are other features also of perfect competition which we will be discussing in the upcoming lectures. The second is on the basis of seller is monopoly. In monopoly, there is single seller in the market and there is absence of close substitutes here, which means in monopoly there is single seller. In perfect competition, there were large number of buyers and sellers. In monopoly, the firms and industry are synonyms and there is restriction on the entry of new firms in the market. In monopoly, the price of industry and firm are almost similar. The meaning is also almost similar because there is only one firm and that can be considered as industry, and there is restriction on the entry of new firms in the market. The third one being imperfect competition. The perfect competition and the monopoly are two extremes of the market, as we have already talked about. In perfect competition, there is large number of buyers and sellers, and on the other hand, in monopoly, there is only one single seller. In imperfect competition, number of seller is less comparatively as compared to perfect competition. Here, there is product differentiation and more transportation and selling cost is involved. So the perfect competition had large number of buyers and sellers. In monopoly, there was single seller, and in imperfect competition, the number of seller is comparatively less. Now, imperfect competition can be further divided into these three parts, that is oligopoly, monopolistic competition and duopoly. So one by one we will be discussing all these three. Imperfect competition, monopolistic competition. Professor Chamberlain has introduced the concept of monopolistic competition. It is a mixture of or combination of perfect competition and monopoly, where the sellers are large but less than perfect competition and sell their different brands of the one commodity. So they are monopolies of their own brands. This is important to be understood, that these are monopolies of their own brand but face competition also. So that is the concept or meaning of monopolistic competition. The second is oligopoly. In the case of oligopoly, there are basically few sellers and they have homogeneous or differentiated product, which needs to be remembered, that there are few sellers involved here and they produce homogeneous or differentiated product on the basis of their features of their product. Importance of advertisement and sales promotion is involved in the case of oligopoly, which means in oligopoly there are few sellers and they produce or sell homogeneous or differentiated products, and there is relevance or importance of advertisement and sales promotion here. Now the third one, that is duopoly. Whenever we talk about duo, there are two sellers in the market. So in duopoly there are two sellers in the market and they have complete control over the market. In duopoly, there are only two sellers and they have complete control over the market. Both produce similar here or kind of similar products. It is simple and micro form of oligopoly. So in imperfect competition, we have talked about first monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and now finally we talked about duopoly. Moving ahead, on the basis of buyers, in the last slide here, we talked on the basis of seller here. Now we are moving to on the basis of buyers. The first can be monopsony, where there is single buyer in the market. Perfect competition, as you are aware, where large number of buyers are involved. And imperfect competition, buyers more than monopsony, which means more than single buyer but less than perfect competition, where large number of buyers are there. So there are three parts of it on the basis of buyer. First, monopsony, when there is single buyer. The second, the perfect competition, where there are large number of buyers. And third, in the case of imperfect competition. In imperfect competition, buyers are more than monopsony, that more than one, but less than large number of buyers, which is the characteristics of perfect competition. So that was about the distinction of basis of buyers. Now, I have tried to differentiate between the seller side market and the buyer side market. In seller side also there is perfect competition. In buyer side also there is perfect competition. In seller side there is monopoly, where there is single seller is here, and here there is single buyer. And then imperfect competition in both of them. In seller side it is termed as monopolistic competition, oligopoly and duopoly, where there are two. And in buyer side market also it is in imperfect competition, they consider monopolistic competition, oligopsony and duopsony. So that is the basic difference between seller side market and buyer side market. So that's all for this presentation. In this presentation we have basically covered these three topics: concept and definition of market, features of market and classification of market. Then I talked with you about the concept of market, how would you define market, which is where there is exchange for goods and services between the buyers and sellers. It is not mandatorily restricted to any specific area, and an important feature is that there should be existence of free competition in the market. If there is no free competition, it cannot be termed as market. Then I talked with you the features of market on the basis of area. I discussed with you commodity, buyer and seller, competition, close contact and price. One by one I discussed all these 6 features on the basis of area, buyer and seller, commodity, competition, close contact and price. Then I talked with you the classification of forms of market. The market can be classified on the basis of area, time, seller and buyer. The first I talked with you on the basis of area. It can be local market, provincial market, national market or international market. The local market is for small area, provincial market is for wider area, national market is for whole nation and international market is for different countries. On the basis of time, I talked with you very short period time, long period time and very long period time. Very short is basically for daily markets, daily consumption items like vegetables, milk, fruit, etc. In short period market we talked about of 6 months approach. Long period is for longer duration, where the supply can be varied as per the demand, and very long period market is a kind of imaginary market and it is of duration more than 20 years. Then on the basis of seller, perfect competition, imperfect competition and monopoly. We discussed all these 3 on the basis of seller. Perfect competition, where there are large number of buyers and sellers who are dealing in identical products, which was important point to be remembered, that they are dealing with identical products. They have perfect knowledge of the market. In monopoly there was single seller in the market and no close substitutes, and in imperfect competition it was between the perfect competition and monopoly, where the number of seller is comparatively less. Here there is product differentiation and involvement of transportation and selling cost. Then I talked about the imperfect competition can be divided into monopolistic competition, oligopoly and duopoly. In monopolistic competitions we talked about they create their own brands, but finally they face competition also. In oligopoly there are few sellers, and in duopoly there are only 2 sellers involved. On the basis of buyer, monopsony, perfect competition and imperfect competition. We talked about this. And then finally we talked about the difference between the seller side market and the buyer side market of perfect competition, monopoly, monopsony in the buyer side, imperfect competition on the seller, imperfect on the buyer, monopolistic competition, oligopoly and duopoly in the seller side, and in the buyer side we have monopolistic competition, oligopsony and duopsony. So that completes this lecture. In this lecture we tried to talk about different dimensions of market, classifications of market and other factors related to it. I hope after this lecture you will be able to understand the market, critically analyze it and divide it, and it will be of good use for the learners. Thank you learners for patiently listening to this lecture, and hope to see you in the upcoming lectures. Thank you.